Welcome to CAPTivated. This is a podcast where we ask the experts, what's wrong with our media and what can we do to make it right?
In each episode, we'll examine a specific facet of our digital public sphere, how it works and how we got here. We're here to help you sort through the noise.
So who are we, guys?
I'm Hanna.
I'm Sage.
And I'm Julius.
We're part of a new centre at Purdue University, the Centre for American Political History, Media and Technology, CAPT.
The force behind this new center is Professor Kathryn Cramer Brownell, who is with us today. So tell us about you and this new endeavor, Katie.
Thank you so much. This podcast is so exciting and really hits at the core mission of CAPT, and that is to better understand our current political and media landscape, to understand the incentive structures, why is it so divisive and diversionary, and to come up with concrete tools to help people better navigate it so that they can get the information that they need as citizens. I am a history professor here at Purdue University, and I am a scholar of modern America, and I look at the intersections of media and politics in 20th century America. And I've written 2 books, and they both chronicle how new technologies, from motion pictures to broadcast television to cable television, and now the internet, about how they've really upended American politics and culture. But here's the thing that I've found in my scholarship that is driving the mission of the center, and that is people make choices over how to use and structure technology. They can use it for division. They can also use it for democratic engagement and for enlightenment and education. And so if we better understand how we got here, we can see the different paths that we might take at this moment where we have so many new technologies and so many opportunities, but also serious challenges. And to address these challenges, we need research and conversation from people across the political spectrum, across the academic world as well. So we need interdisciplinarity. We need people to study this from a sociological angle, a political science angle, a communications angle, a philosophical angle, and yes, of course, a historical angle. And so that's what we hope to do with this center, is to generate interdisciplinary research and conversations to better understand our current information landscape and to better navigate it. So we also hope to bring in a lot of programming and tools to take this research beyond the confines of the university and apply it in the daily lives of individuals who really are looking for solutions, who feel overwhelmed the way that you mentioned, Julius, every day. I'm really excited to also bring in new scholars to Purdue through our postdoctoral research fellowship program. And that's how we've gotten you, Sage, to go all the way from the UK to Boston to West Lafayette, Indiana, and to bring in political scientists like you, Hanna, as well. And so tell us a little bit about how you found out about CAPT.
I pitched an article for a column Katie edits called Made by History, which brings historical research to put current things happening in the news into historical context. And that's when I first met Katie. Since then, it's been a wonderful 5 years, and she's been a really great mentor to me. So I was really excited when I heard about her new center. I'm also a historian, and I'm working on a book about the civil rights movement and racial politics and how they affected the development of the American television news industry in the 50s and 60s. So with CAPT, American political history, check. Media, check. Technology, check. In my research, I'm interested in all of the questions that we're thinking about here at CAPT. How does power operate to structure a news media ecosystem? What role do business interests play? How do different actors use discourses about bias in the news as a political strategy? All that good stuff. So this is a really great place to be sort of thinking and in conversation while I'm working on this book. I've also got a background in public humanities events organizing. And in this work, I always focus on bringing people from different areas together in conversation about shared topics of interest. So different disciplines, people inside, outside of academia. And that's something we're also trying to do here at CAPT. So I'm really excited to bring some of the conversations we're having outside of the ivory tower. What about you, Hanna?
Yeah, so I heard about Katie and this center through a couple of co-authors that I worked with here at Purdue on a new information literacy framework based around mindfulness. And I got so excited when I first heard about CAPT because it fits perfectly with the questions that I'm interested in. So for a long time, I worked as a journalist, writing for Swedish and Scandinavian publications from abroad. I was based in India, Egypt, and the Bay Area, and I travel all the time. And I got interested in the attention economy when I did a fellowship at Stanford in innovation journalism. And that's when I started thinking about how technology impacts our public sphere. So reporting on the ground in 19 different countries made me curious about the power structures behind what was happening. And this eventually led me to pursue a PhD in political science. In my research, I've been interested in understanding what societal conditions lowers accountability for politicians and have paved the way for the increased use of falsehoods that we can see in our information environment. And among these conditions are increased affective polarization, where we begin to see out partisans as enemies, and also fragmentation of media landscapes. So how did you get involved with this, Julius?
Well, as you all can hear, I am not as illustrious as these amazing individuals, but I do bring something to the table. And I met Katie when I was taking a class with Dr. Jen Howie here at Purdue. And Katie talked about CAPT and how it was upcoming. And I just felt like I wanted to be involved in some way and learn more. And so immediately after class, I went right up to Katie and I told her, I was like, I have some things that I'm interested in and I think I might be useful to the project. We met and I told her, I may not be so useful on the research side as I'm still developing my research skills as I'm a third-year PhD student here at Purdue. But what I do have is some skills when it comes to making podcasts. I can edit, I can talk, and I can do all the other stuff. And she was like, great. Let's work. And so I've been a part of it ever since. And I've just been really amazed by the opportunity to work with such amazing people like yourselves. And I'm just excited to be a part.
I'm thrilled to have all of you be a part of this project. And as Sage mentioned, I also added a column called Made by History that seeks to bring historical insight to contemporary events. And we've run several pieces on media history and political history that I think are very valuable resources, and we can link to them in our show notes as well. However, what is the value of a podcast? Why are we doing a podcast?
Yeah, so we already have all these amazing speakers that are coming to our CAPT seminar series. So we figured, why not pick their brains a little bit more and bring them to the public? We know a lot of people are struggling with navigating our broken information system, so let's get some advice from the experts.
So, on the podcast in the coming weeks, we'll be talking to researchers, journalists, content creators, technologists, policymakers, and a ton more interesting people to help us understand how we got here, how it all works, and how to stay sane.
So we'll be shooting to bring you episodes every fortnight. Now let's pause there. I did not know what that meant, but it was explained to me that we're adding a global perspective to this podcast. Fortnight means every other week. So we are learning together already. Before we even get into the content, guys, we're already learning. So every fortnight, we will be bringing you a podcast. Our first conversation was with Dr. Nicole Hemmer, a professor of media and American politics, and it's an amazing podcast. She had such great wisdom and such great knowledge to offer to us all, and I hope you all listen to it in every podcast to come. It's so great to have you all listening.